I found a cheerleader. Oh, I was totally going to sing along with it. And it went boom. We don't need to hear me sing. Hi, everybody.
It's not that. We have licensing issues to bounce around. So.
Got you.
Okay.
Right.
The big buttons for around here.
That's what Superstar's for right there. Superstar. Superstar. Okay, see, I'm going off. I know, YouTube world. Here we go. Radio world. Welcome, everybody. Sue Lundquist here with the Gratitude Cafe. Benny, I am bubbling with excitement. Can you tell?
I am too, and we're all cooled down from last week, so this is perfect timing for everybody.
I'm just so excited. Hello, YouTube world. Okay, this is a live call-in show. We are relaunching with my dear, lovely soul sister friend, Nadine LeGreca. Hi, sweetness.
Hi.
So we're now in the YouTube world too. Now we get to see you, see us, hear the animals, all of the farm, right? Like, I love it. What, Benny?
She's like, great, all my farm animals. You know how many I have?
But it's true. They all had to come in and say hi, right?
Always. I try to keep them quiet.
No, they needed to have their voices heard. Okay, guys. So if you're wondering and tuning into this goofiness and the shenanigans going on, you have tuned into the Gratitude Cafe, and this is your host, Sue Lundquist. And we are going to do live intuitive readings today. Readings, card pulls. We're going to connect you with spirit. We're going to see how it all rolls and plays out. And if you would like to get a reading here with Nadine, and P.S. Nadine is not doing any more, at least for the time being, private calls or readings. She's doing it specifically for missing persons or missing animals currently right now. So if you want to get a reading, which is pretty rare, you're going to want to do it right now here on the show. We're going to start doing every first Tuesday of every month. Myself and Nadine, and of course, Benny, our superstar producer, will be here. We're going to be doing live readings, connecting you with spirit, and of course, the bridging between spirituality and practicality, which is my niche, and breaking down the Rubik's Cube of personal development and really helping you get clear on who you are, where you're going in this 3D world, but also tapping into the 5D intuition, talking to spirit, getting healing messages, which is also super juicy. And with calls, you can call in and have patience. Benny's running around and pushing lots of buttons. So just bear with us here while we get you taken care of. And it's one.
I don't run around as much because of the Zoomer thing. So
that's true.
I need to do, extra stuff outside of the station now. Can't you tell? Look at this little guy. He's getting bigger. I haven't been running around much. Don't you get me here, Sue? Look what you did to me.
I did it.
Okay, maybe not you per se.
Not you. Yes. Okay. 1-888-298-5569. Right, Benny? 1-888-298-5569 or 425-373-5527. Give us a call. New perspective, new thoughts, new ideas. We are going to chit chat with Miss Nadine. Now, Nadine, I'm going to say Nadine LeGreca, but I noticed there's a different last name that you put on. Talk to me.
Hey.
Well, first, welcome. Hi, love.
Hi. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous.
Oh,
I know. I'm not usually nervous on the radio, but it's because I can see my face and I'm like, it's so nerve-wracking. And I'll get used to it. I talk with my hands a lot. You're going to notice that. I'm very handy. I added crow on the end in memory of Lily's dad. My daughter's dad, my husband. He was my husband, and we were separated for a bit there, so I had the crow off of there. But in memory of him, my daughter wanted to make sure I had the crow back on. So, yeah, that's why I changed it. So my professional name's still Nadine LeGreca because that's how everyone knows me. But
for you, okay. So welcome back. How long has it been? Like a full year, 2 years?
Yeah, it's been about a year, a year or over a year. Yeah, I haven't done, I've been doing emergency readings.
Yes.
But I did take time off because, as you know, I've been doing this for like 20 years and sometimes you just need a holiday.
Yes. Well,
to take a break because, connecting with spirit all the time is, it's hard on the body. definitely. Especially the way that I channel. I'm a physical medium. And if anyone doesn't know what that means, it means I feel things within my body when I'm talking to spirit. They send me signs through my body. So it's definitely.
Which, for example, if somebody's crossed over and they had a heart attack,
I'll feel pain in the chest.
Or gunshot or something like that. So there's some discernment, right. Or they had whatever. Yes. And let's go into this conversation. Because it's been so long, I would like you to reintroduce yourself. I know you've been doing it for over 20 years, why you took a break, but let's just get people reacquainted to what we are doing here. And I'm going to remind people about the calling in at 1-888-298-5569. I'm going to slow down because I hear Benny going, Sue, slow down. 1-888-298-5569.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And locally, 425-373-5527. Give us a call. We would love to hear from you. Nadine, hit it. Lovely one.
So a little bit about me. So my whole family, I come from a whole family of psychic mediums. So all of us do this. It was a normal conversation in my household to talk about spirits. However, they used to scare me, like, because I didn't realize what I was. Like, I knew I could talk to dead people or I would get these signs and symbols, but I didn't understand it. And it was really scary for me.
Likewise.
And especially being a physical medium. And, I feel spirit around and then my heart is hurting or my head is hurting. And I felt like they're hurting me. Like I thought, oh my gosh, they want to hurt me. So that's why I ended up getting formal training for this, was to recognize what that meant and that they weren't attacking me. It was just information.
Right.
So I was a psychic for years and years, and I only did mediumship with people I was comfortable with. But then after my training, I became a professional.
So let's define, because people may get confused, because there's a difference between psychic and evidential mediumship. I mean, there really is. So go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. So psychic is someone who deals with the here and now. So we're dealing with us in the physical world, our life. We still connect to guides and angels and things on the other side for the information, but it pertains to what we're doing here on Earth. Whereas a physical or an evidential medium, I should say, connects with people who have crossed over. So we're communicating, with our loved ones on the other side. And it's a totally different game. But if our loved ones have information for us on the other side, like career-wise or kind of psychic stuff, they'll also tune into that for sure. But there's psychics and mediums are separate. Most of the time, if you're a medium, you're a psychic, but psychics aren't always mediums.
Totally. And I've noticed if I'm doing a reading with somebody and it's intuition, psychic, that the energy will start shifting. I'm like, oh, I think we're going into mediumship. I've got grandma here wanting to have a conversation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And some people just never pick that up because they're not meant to, or they don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I had to go there because I had to go there because it came naturally to me. So I had no choice.
Yeah. Wow. So you've been doing this for well over 20 years. And I want to go back to the conversation about that fear, because I know for myself, because I'm a natural born psychic, and I didn't really realize what the evidential mediumship was, because I didn't have my elders, my family. I was adopted, and I'm not saying that's good, better. And it's just, it is what it is. So I sought out people like you and the high integrity people that I could learn from as well. But I want to go back and have that conversation about people and society in Hollywood that says there's this fear and this fear and this personification of the devil or that kind of stuff, where you and I have had this conversation so many times, because that's not what we're experiencing.
No, not at all. And the thing is, Hollywood, we've been portrayed, not so good for a lot of years, from the beginning of time. But people like Teresa Caputo, have really brought what we do to the
Forefront.
mainstream. And
Yeah.
thank gosh, Carmel Jerry Baird, the
Yep.
people who have laid the pathway for us to be able to do this. And there's always going to be skeptics, and I think you should be skeptical, because not all psychic mediums are created equally, just like all hairdressers aren't. I don't know.
Right? Hairdressers,
Right? Like,
coaches, whatever. Yeah.
Whatever it is, right? You have to connect with who you feel is right. But it is one of those professions that can get people who are shady, so you really have to do your homework. Word of mouth is always awesome, things like that. But it is one of
listen to the Gratitude Cafe with Sue and Nadine, right? Right here.
That's right. And that's why evidential.
Yes.
That's and for people who don't know that, you want an evidential medium. Actually, any medium or psychic that you go to has to give you evidence that they're connected with spirit. And what I mean by that is I should be able to tell you things that there's no way I would know.
Yep.
No, there's no way I would know
no
those
fishing.
things.
Yeah, no fishing.
Yeah, no fishing. No fishing.
No fishing.
Yeah.
High integrity. And that's why I sought out, like you and Nadine, you and Carmel, because it's that high integrity and it's the evidence first.
Yes, evidence first before the messages. Because
Yeah.
how would anybody believe the message if there
No.
wasn't evidence? Because a lot of time the messages are very basic human stuff, right? Like, I love you, I miss you, I'm proud of you, things like that. Because what would your family members say if they haven't talked to you in 20 years? What would they want you to know?
Right.
That they love you.
Yes, of course. They love you, support you, and they're proud of you. And when Nadine and I are having this conversation, the evidence is us tapping into said spirit, and said spirit is giving us, excuse me, my voice, is giving us signs, symbols, names. I've gotten names, you've gotten names, which is brilliant because I don't want to have to jump through all the hoops. Right? I don't want to jump through all those hoops. Just, can you give me a name? Can you give me a name? So Nadine, we have a caller. It's Jennifer from Mill Creek. Would you like to take that now? I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Yay, Jennifer, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Jennifer. You there?
She
Yeah.
is.
I'm here.
Hi, welcome, love. This is Sue. Nadine, say hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Do you have a specific question?
Well, I have a couple things that are bubbling in my head right now, and you guys choose what you feel most drawn to. I'm visiting with my family right now down the Oregon coast, and my dad is having serious health challenges, and he has for many, many years. I have a little bit of one myself, but I think I'm more tuned into my dad right now. But you guys tell me what you're feeling. He's almost 90, and he's post-stroke from, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago. And I just feel like he's getting close. And I guess I just want to find out what you guys, are you feeling anything there?
I get mother coming through. Is your mother crossed over?
No, she's still here. She's here with me too. She's having some of her own little health things, but
Okay, I just keep hearing mother. And the reason being, I keep hearing mother. And the reason, if she's not crossed over, this feels like this is what he's worried about. He's worried about leaving your mom. And he's holding on really tight for your mom.
So if before you even started talking, I'm going to show you this. There's Jennifer and there's Dad. Love on him. So there was something going on about just being in love and being the present moment for you and the family. I know that's like Nadine and I were talking about. That's quite general, but yet really profound.
Mm-hmm.
How does that sit? Go ahead, Nadine.
Sorry. I'm trying, when we do this, I have a hard time I'm trying to listen to everybody and to spirit. So I'm getting mother again, keeps coming through. So this feels like his mother who's crossed over, the grandmother. So this is who will be coming for your dad. So this might be important information to tell him. See, so like when my father was crossing over, and he was kind of scared, to go to the other side. I made it I made an effort to really communicate what the other side was going to be like, to kind of teach him, to let him know who is coming. So if your dad's not a big believer in mediumship or anything like this, it's about comforting him. So as somebody who's calling in here, I know for sure you know a lot about the other side. I know that you're a spiritual person. And I think it's important that you convey these messages to your dad. This is a really good time for you to kind of coach him and to let him know that everything's going to be okay. And I know that's a tough position to be in. I know he's struggling, but he's had a long, good life and he knows it and he loves you so much. Is communication a problem for him right now?
No. He can communicate. Okay. He can talk just fine. He just struggles with walking and getting around. And
okay. But I feel there's a communication.
At the Oregon coast with my family, he's been really sick and weak.
Right. So they're talking about communication. So I'm not sure if it's you who's struggling to communicate with him or there's things that you need to ask or say, but they're telling me there's a lack of communication. So meaning you have to communicate everything now. Now's the time. Any questions that you have for him, any stories, anything you want to say, now is the time. Your mom's really struggling though. I keep hearing struggling, like there's a lack of communication within the family. So you guys really need to get together and really talk about everything you want to talk about, because you can't have any regrets, right? You don't want it to be too late and have no regrets. So make sure you say everything that you want to say. I keep seeing watches, a watch or watches. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny. He's been this whole week on this vacation, he's been talking about how his watch battery died and how he's so upset about his watch battery being dead and he feels naked without his watch. So maybe there's something with that.
That's 100%. That's 100%.
That's called validation right there.
Yeah.
Right, exactly right.
We were just talking about that, how you can't have a message without the validating part, right?
Right.
So, yep.
Yeah.
How
is that resonating, Jen? I'm sorry, Nadine.
I know I get on a tangent because they talk so fast, Spirit, right? I just want you to know that his mom, his parents are the ones that are coming for him. And it's not going to be soon. So you still have time. You still have time. They're saying, take this time. Don't hesitate. Okay. I want you to make sure my father was not feeling good or whatever at the end. I asked him a million questions and I wrote down the answers. And it was like a really special bonding time for my dad and I. So something
like
to
what
think
kind
about.
of questions when you say that? You know, you mean just like things you want to know about their life, or?
Yeah, or I'd say to my dad, like, what do you think is the most important thing about life? And he was like, family. He told me family. And my dad was a guy who was never around. He worked his whole life. He was never really home, right? So then when he said family, so that was a lesson he learned, that family was most important, not work. You know, and what was his favorite color? What's your favorite number? What's your favorite childhood memory? You know, things like that, like things.
Yeah, what was your favorite memory with mom? You know, things that they experienced prior to kids too, right?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Get into the moment, love on him and have, you know, beautiful conversations, right?
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling in. Lovely. Love you. Love all of you. Hi, Benny. Thank you for taking that call. Sorry for my voice here.
Sometimes the evidence comes later in the conversation.
Right? I know. I'm like, can we just start with a great name and just go from there, right?
But it's funny how, so for people who have never had a reading or don't know how this works, when they say what, like when spirit's communicating, they say mother, mother, mother. And until we get it right, they don't drop it. And when they say mother, it can be your mother, your grandmother, your stepmother, your husband's mother-in-law. Like they all feel like moms, right? Whatever they were on the earth, same as father, yada, yada, right?
Yeah.
So,
or an animal. The animals. Yeah.
When I'm hearing mother, 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 that's all I can hear it saying while I'm trying to listen to you, while I'm trying to listen to them, it's mother. So it can mean multiple things though. His mother's coming for him. Her mother's worried. He's holding on to the mother. So as a medium, we're playing charades. Like we're trying to figure out, I'm just the messenger, right? We're just the messenger. Where is this message fit into their life?
Yep.
On this reading, where does it fit in? And then when I see watches, that's all I'm getting is a watch. That's all they're showing me and repeating over and over. So how does this connect? And sometimes we have to ask the questions because the person who hears it goes blank and doesn't understand. Luckily for us, the last caller, she knew exactly what the watch meant.
I love that too. And that's validation because you can get, what did we call it? Or you call it psychic amnesia, because you get so wrapped up in the reading and you forget. And then your client, you say this and you as the service provider or the evidential medium, you're sitting there going, well, they're coming through. It's strong. It's right here. I'm just giving it like the message. When I remember a couple of years ago when my dad came through and you were like, Sue, what is with the jar of pickles?
Yeah.
I'm like, no way. Because that's the stuff. Because who would know that? Nobody.
And it's so random like that, right? So that's the thing as a psychic medium. And when you're learning to be a psychic medium or even just a psychic, right? You have to take those little things. Like, when I hear it, even after all these years, I'm like, pickles. I don't want to say pickles. Like, that's so weird. Like, give me something bigger or, like.
Our human expectations. Why are you giving me pickles?
I'm still human, right? I have these conversations because I'm still human and I'm judging.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say pickles, but we have to portray. We are just the messenger. So I still have to go, okay, fine. I'm going to say pickles.
Yes. And it was perfect too, because and it was validating.
Well, how many times, Sue, have we been giving readings and it's the weirdest, littlest thing that is the most profound?
Yes. Hands down. I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday and we were talking about, and I was really excited about doing this again together on the show. And I was talking to her and educating about the difference between psychic medium or psychic and then evidential mediumship, and then what it looks like in a 3D world. So the oscillating fan, if I could give you that example, I was explaining to her the different frequencies. So when you've got an oscillating fan and it's the energy's on low, you can still see the petals moving, right? Yeah. But when you turn up the energy, you get a smear, right? So that smear, that frequency is turned up, not any better. It's just a higher frequency because we live in the 3D dense world. That 5D and above energies is, I call it the smear of the fan, but I don't know if that's the right, but it is. It's a great analogy too.
It is a really great analogy. And as you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it's like, because the better goes, the less you see. And these guys are invisible, so their frequency is super high. And as you know, so we're down here, right? And when we're psychically connecting to people's guides or their energy, we're about here. It's a higher frequency, but not super high. But when you're communicating with spirit, like people who crossed over, it's through the roof. It's super high. So the way we do that, if people want to understand the whole technicality of it, is that we have to meet spirit in order to connect with them. We have to tune into their frequency and they have to tune into ours. And how we do that is we raise our vibration through meditation, through prayer, whatever it is we need to do to raise our vibration. And then they have to slow theirs way down to meet us. Yeah. So it's worked for both of us. It's worked for them. And sometimes the channel's really clear. Sometimes it's fuzzy. Just
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
how we can meet their energy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go back to how you were saying about devils and
Oh gosh, yeah.
and negative energy. I mean, I've been accused of worshiping the devil a million times, right? A million times. And even having students and people come to me who are really struggling because they're born with these abilities, but they're raised in a religion
Yep.
that calls them evil, that calls them, you know, the devil, that they're talking to the devil. And the thing is like, what they don't understand is our frequency is so high, our vibration is pure love.
Yep.
So then we connect with people who are of love.
Yep.
We would not connect with anyone who wasn't of the high, for our highest good and only our highest good. So we are dealing with, and I'm not saying that all psychic mediums do that. I can't speak for people and where they get their information, but as far as you and I, we're dealing with the highest of the high. So there would be no such thing other than love and light coming.
Only love and light. And let's address that, and then we'll go to a commercial break. I want to remind everybody about the phone numbers: 1-888-298-5569, or locally 425-373-5527. And that frequency and being able to discern, right? And discern what, and it's an audience for the radio world and YouTube international world, whoever and everybody. It's not that we are better or bigger than anybody. It's an expansion of energy. It has nothing to do with us having any kind of, because we don't want any ego or any expectation within that, because that's a lower frequency. So it must come from a higher frequency, and that higher frequency is above the line, and it is in white love, white light and love. So with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to take some more callers, or Nadine and I are just going to keep talking and educating and loving on you. So we will be right back with the YouTube world. We're going to chat with you online. So we'll be right back. Thanks, Benny.
All clear.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I'm like, my eyes are pumping.
I got sunburned in my yard. So we're talking right now on YouTube. Whoever's watching YouTube can see us.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Hi, YouTubers.
Hi, YouTubers. So they can see how much we really love each other.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I was so nervous today.
No, I know. No, it's all in love. So I was talking to my friend. We were at the river yesterday supping, and we were talking about this conversation and discernment, and we were talking about what it looks like, you know, like the fan analogy, which is brilliant. Right. And then also, you know, those sheer shower curtains, you know, because we've got, I mean, spirit's pretty close to us from a practical standpoint. I mean, it's literally a veil away. So if you look, and I'm giving an audience another example, Nadine, you're more than welcome to add, but like those sheer curtains or shower curtains where you can kind of see them, you can see there's a body or sense that there's a body back there. And then you've got to go, does it feel masculine? Does it feel feminine? Or if it's smaller, like towards the ground, is it an animal? What is it? Is it a cat? Is it a dog? You have to go through this whole discernment and conversation with spirit.
Absolutely. And you know what? And it's always your first instinct.
Yep, always.
Like, but the problem is we've talked about this so many times, is trust.
Yes.
Trusting spirit. Like, and after all these years, I still fight with them.
No, that's not right. I'm not going to say that. And they're like,
pickles. What?
Pickles? And it was so perfect for me. It was so perfect.
Right. But what they don't understand too, or what I would like to explain to people, is that spirit is relentless. And when they want to say something, they will repeat it over and over and over again. So even when I'm trying to, you know, we're trying to talk to each other, we're trying to hear the caller, spirit doesn't care.
No, I'm just, it's like that over invasive, beautiful friend that you've got. I mean, hang on. I love you. Hang on a
Welcome
minute.
back.
All right, we're gonna come back. We were out the box.
Am I?
Oh, we're back. Oh, there we go. Ah, of course you would play that song. Thank you. Thank you. All right, welcome back, radio world, YouTube world, podcast world. Later on, Sue Lundquist here with the Gratitude Cafe. We are taking live calls. Nadine and I are back live again. So put this in your calendar of reminders. The first Tuesday of every month from 8 to 9 Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what that is in Europe and Mexico and all over the world. Y'all gonna have to figure that out. But you're welcome to call in. And if you would like to do a reading and you have questions, you want to do it anonymously, by all means, you can just send us an email and we can tap in energetically that way. And you can do that at supersuecares@gmail.com. Again, that's supersuecares@gmail.com. You can call in now. We're taking our break. We already did that. So we've got probably another 28 minutes, and that's 1-888-298-5569 to call in. And again, even if you call in, you can be anonymous. That's totally fine too. Or locally, 425-373-5527. Nadine and I have been talking, the first part, we had a caller, but we're also talking about the education, the definitions, the discernments, what it looks like from intuition to evidential mediumship, the high integrity, getting out of our own way, and trusting, the big word of trust, right? Trusting that spirit's coming through like the jar of pickles from my dad, you know?
It's all about trust. It's all about trust. And we need the people who are coming to us for readings, we need their trust too, right? It's a big trust between the two of us. You have to trust that I'm the real deal. Right? I have to trust that you're going to be open and not have a wall, because as you and I know, a lot of people come in skeptical, and that's fine. I'm not saying don't be skeptical. I'm skeptical. We've been
living in this for years.
Yeah, but we still skeptical. I'm skeptical of other psychics. I'm skeptical of mediums, because I think that's okay. However, it's always best to go into a reading with a very open mind, because you don't know how spirit's going to want to communicate with you. You don't know what they're going to say. And if you have expectations of what you want them to say, you might not get what you want.
That's the expectations, right? And that's a great analogy for real world too. Release your expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times when someone comes, we've talked about this before, but when someone's sitting across from me and they're saying, if she's the real deal, my dad's going to say ... And then if I don't say ... they're not going to think I'm the real deal. However, here we are giving them tons and like 20 other things that we would have never known, 20 other things that are evidence, and they get, if your client gets stuck in all they're waiting for is that one thing instead of hearing everything.
I know.
So please just be open and relaxed in your readings, and trusting, but make sure there's evidence. Make sure there's evidence.
For sure. I got to tell you this. I'm bring this up to you. There was a gal that I was talking to a couple months ago. I can't remember at this point, regardless. And it started off with just intuition. We were having kind of a coaching moment and a conversation. And then I'm like, oh, okay, we just shifted. And now it just went into mediumship. And this is going on the conversation, Nadine, where we go into trust mode, right? Because and complete surrender and just being the messenger. And there was pretty heavy 3D conversation about coaching and some other things, and then the intuition, and then we shifted into the evidential mediumship. And one of the parents had come through for my client and had said, be expecting a box to be delivered to you about family. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm just supposed to give it to you. Like the next week, one of the cousins had come over, dropped off a box, and it was all memorabilia from the family. I'm like, oh my God, that is so cool.
Isn't that awesome?
I love that.
Yeah, because sometimes the validation doesn't come until later. It's something that's coming up. And this is another thing when we're giving readings. And people might be like, nah, that doesn't make sense. If it doesn't make sense now, it's definitely going to make sense later. And it always does. How many times have we had those people come back and be like, remember when you said it came true? I'm like,
yes. Yeah. I was having another conversation, and I love it. And it's a great, and I think I can speak for the both of us. Please let us know, connect with us, and let us know that it happened. A couple years later, there was a gal that I was talking to when I was still living in Washington, and we had a conversation with her mom that had crossed over, and we were talking about one of her daughters that was here, and there was an education question. And over 2.5, maybe 3 years later, the mom calls me and said, Sue, you were right. And I'm like, wait a minute, I wasn't right. That was grandma's message. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it happened. It totally came to fruition. And it was just, I love that. That's where I was going with that. I love it when the clients come back and go, Sue, it came true. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of timelines, Spirit has no time over there, right? There's no Monday to Friday, or, there's no time. So a lot, how it is when they're communicating with us and it's something that's coming up in the future. Sometimes they're very specific, next month, Friday or whatever. And it comes through.
Yeah.
March. And then other times they're like November, and you're like, okay, November, not this year, not next year. The 3rd November your baby came. I knew it was coming in November. I just didn't know what year your baby was coming.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So sometimes we don't always get the timing, but it will come in divine timing.
It will. It's not up to us. Again, audience, it's the conversation that we're having about releasing expectation and trust and love. And I think regardless if we're talking about evidential mediumship, psychic, and tapping into the 5th dimension, and that this is really, really good education information for you in your life now. Trust and love, have discernment. Nadine and myself aren't here to prove anything. We're just the messenger. We really are just the messenger. And I'm pretty confident I can speak for Nadine. We love it, and we're honored to do it. And it's really important that you guys understand that it's high integrity for us. It's really important that we communicate that and show up that way. And let's have that conversation, because you and I have done this with Spirit. The way they show up in real world, if they're introverts or extroverts, because we've had that conversation too, they'll be super gung-ho on the other side if they're extroverts here. And if they're more introverted, right? Nadine's like nodding her head, yes. I'm going, oh my God. It's like pulling teeth trying to get grandma to come through, or grandpa. You remember that?
I love extroverts. It makes our job a lot easier when they're extroverted. And as a psychic medium, when you're giving readings, you hope for spirits that are loud and come down further. They make our job easy, blah, 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 talking, lots of evidence. And then every once in a while, we come across the ones who were quiet. And then we start to, every time, I've been doing this forever, but every time I start to doubt myself, I'm like, oh no, I'm not connecting.
Yes.
I'm not getting any information. But the quietness is the information. But it takes us a while to get there. We have to discern what's going on. Okay, why aren't I connecting? Is it me? Am I not reaching them? But, it takes us a bit to get there. And then all of a sudden we go, oh, let me guess. They didn't talk in real life. They weren't big talkers in real life. And all that takes, I always, I teach a lot. I'm always mentoring and teaching. And that's one of the biggest things, is to remind our, up and coming psychics and mediums, is that sometimes it takes a while for us to get those signs and those symbols and to figure out what it means to us.
Oh, like you said at the top of the hour, it's a bit of charades.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know why they're showing me a jar of pickles, but your dad's showing me a jar of pickles, and it was so profound for me, because, how do you even know that? I mean, you just don't. Or like when I was sitting at a restaurant a couple years ago, and I told you about this, and the baby came through for this couple and gave me the name. And I'm like, that's a baby, for crying out loud.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is even animals, how many times
animals, yes,
do animals come through and chit chat with us, and people are like, how can they talk to you?
Sign symbols and
the whole words, but they're on the other side. They can do whatever they want.
They can totally do whatever you want. I know that. And guys, this is to everybody. The reason we do this is for healing messages, healing your heart, healing from trauma, healing from the past. And again, this is a really good conversation, like our caller at the top of the hour. Instead of waiting till somebody crosses over, how about having really good, juicy conversations in the now? Ask the questions that you are afraid to ask, because they may be answers that you don't want to hear. Ask them anyways. Get into that conversation and come at it from a place of love. And that's real life, practical world, right? Don't wait until things have blown up or somebody's crossed over. Get those healing messages from those people that you love and care for now. And I think with everything that's been going on with the whole COVID and isolation and emotions and, the whole isolation, I think it's really, I know it's really important to really jump in and start engaging with people, right? Have those conversations, love on one another. I can't tell you how many people I'm meeting that are just so hungry for conversation and connection and community, right?
Yeah, especially now, she really showed us what is important in our lives, right?
Right.
The lack, but if the person you're talking to doesn't want to have those conversations, it's important to you to ask, like
permission. Yeah.
Permission. But the thing is like, just because you ask the question doesn't mean they're going to want to answer it, but at least you ask, because you don't want to have any regrets once they've crossed over.
No regrets. That's the word. No regrets. Yeah. Don't wait till
yeah, I wish I would have asked this, or I wish I would have known that, or what about this, Having said that, another thing that always comes up is, how come Spirit's so loving on the other side? Even if let's say they were not communicators on this side, they never told you they loved you. They never told you they were proud of you. But now they're on the other side and they're all lovey-dovey, gushy, and it's hard to believe it.
Yeah.
Right? I've had clients that are like, oh, they weren't like that. That's not who they are. But you have to understand they're on the other side, which is pure love. Yeah. And they've learned those lessons. They've learned that it's what's important and what's not, and they have a lot of regrets and they're sorry. So big thing when they're communicating is they want to bring that lesson to the physical world.
Right. It's not that they feel regret like we do, audience. I want to make that clear. Yeah. They don't feel the regret. That's the language and the adjective that we're describing in the 3D world. They have a message of health and healing and love and appreciation, proud of you, messages that you didn't get, validations you didn't receive in your 3D world. So again, going back to the conversation of love and community and effective communication and honoring those people that are with you in your life now. Yes. I think, do you feel the message that's happening here? We always end up, when we do these shows, there's an underlining message happening.
Theme.
Here.
We always end up with
the theme. Yeah, the theme and the message. And that's community, that's love. Get your conversation on now versus waiting. Yeah, get your conversation on. Babe, I don't know what it is with dragonflies, but they keep this whole hour, they're popping into my head. I don't know what it is. So I think there's a conversation that we need to have, because Spirit, they are in a high frequency and they can manipulate frequency of energy, like the radio, the lights. So you hear people having these well, the lights are flicking and it's scaring me. That's only Spirit saying hi, because you've been asking questions. And then there's little bugs, dragonflies or butterflies that are showing up for some reason, but maybe you had just had mom or grandma in your head and she loved dragonflies or butterflies. So there's when you ask the question to spirit, then it's your job to be in hyper awareness, to see and to trust the love of the message, right, Nadine?
And to trust who you think it is.
Yes.
And it's funny you say that about the dragonflies and stuff, because earlier on when you're talking, I can hear spirit saying
Dragonflies.
but I could hear spirit saying, talk about signs and symbols. Talk about signs and symbols. I kept hearing that. I know in hindsight, we always do this in hindsight, blah, blah, blah. But yes, to educate people on how spirit shows up in our life and how to trust those messages, that because everyone doubts themselves. However, everyone has intuition,
Yep,
abilities, that gut feeling, whatever you call it, that's what it is. And spirit shows up in different ways, and it has to do with frequencies. For some reason, spirit chooses certain frequencies in order to send us messages in the physical world, whether we identify as psychics or mediums or whatever we do, or we're just like normal going about our day. But like you're saying, insects are a big one. Ladybugs, dragonflies, butterflies are the top ones, I would say. Birds are a big one that they come through as birds. Electricity, they love flicking lights. They love to flick lights, turn on TVs, things like that.
songs, TV. Oh my gosh, my TV.
Songs, music is huge. They come across it in music is really huge. What else? Dimes, pennies. They love
coins and dimes. And correct me if I'm wrong, because that takes a little bit more manipulation of frequency and energy, because the spirit's got to say, all right, to this human, you've got to drop it. And then 5 other humans have got to not pick it up for that 6th human to go, oh my God, I was just thinking of grandma and there's the penny or the dime or whatever, right?
Yes.
They're working hard to give you messages.
And I mean, here's the thing people do. Well, I thought, I found a dime and I thought it was my dad, but no, it's your dad.
Yeah.
Trust. And that's so hard. It's so hard. But your first instinct is like, if I see, okay, for example, my husband who's passed away comes as crows because his last name is Crow and he's First Nations, but he comes as crows. And I can look at a crow and just, oh yeah, there's a crow. There's another crow. All of a sudden, hi, Rick. Right? There's the 3rd crow. I'm like, oh, hi, Rick. I know when the crow is him. And I know when it's not him.
Yes.
So
that is super important right there. That is
it will whatever that feeling is, like, oh, hi, Mom. You see, I could see 10 crows and not have a message. And then the 11th crow is my husband.
That is super important, because I have had this conversation with multiple people. Well, we have hawks all over the place, Sue. They're a dime a dozen. I'm like, it's a different frequency and it pops up when it's supposed to pop up. Right?
Exactly. And education wise, another thing with spirit that we've talked about before is a lot of times when they're talking to us, it'll be a thought that doesn't match what we're thinking. Yeah. So you could be thinking about getting the groceries and picking the kids up from school. And then all of a sudden there's a dragonfly on your rear view mirror or whatever. And you're like, oh, Mom, boom, Mom pops into my head. Why would I think about my mom when I got so many other things on my mind? Because Mom is saying, hello.
Yes.
Here I am.
And trusting that. So there's quite a veil of a theme, like Nadine and I always have, whether it's animals, whether it's butterflies, whether it's self-esteem, self-love, self-care. Today's been a great show and kind of a recap, and to reintroduce you to myself and Nadine and to what this whole intuition, this frequency of intuition, this frequency of evidential mediumship. It's a really good education for you, and education to understand, because we all know when you have the wisdom, you have a deeper understanding of what we do or what we're being of service for you. Again, it's new perspective, new thoughts, new ideas. Take what feels right and release the rest. Again, this whole theme of community, talking to the people that are here in life now, genuinely and authentically. Those are huge anchor words for me. You guys have heard me talk about that. Genuinely and authentically connect with your community. Now is the perfect time. Please don't wait till they cross over. I mean, and if they do, we'll take care of that too. But why not? Why not do it in the 3D world in where we're living now and love on that? And regardless of that, they're always going to be giving you messages. And like Nadine and I were telling you, trust, not telling you, suggesting, whatever, you know. We're not here to prove anything, but to really listen and trust in that love and trust in the conversation and those little tiny messages that are coming through. I think that's so beautiful. We've got just a couple more minutes, Nadine. Is there anything that you want to say before we head out other than I love you? I'm so excited we're doing this again.
Well, I'm very happy to be back, and it's super exciting for me. One thing I just wanted to say is that we're really big on educating. So even if people don't want a reading, if they have any questions, if they want to call in with questions, we'd be more than happy to answer, because I know there's a lot of information coming at them. Yes. You know, it's a lot of information, lots to learn, but we love teaching, don't we?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Brilliant to say, for sure. So again, mark this in your calendar, get it out, not while you're driving, but mark it down. And it's the first Tuesday of every month moving forward. Nadine and I are going to do this for as long as spirit and guides tell us to do it. And I'm excited that we're back to doing this again. Write this number down, 1-888-298-5569 or 425-373-5527. Those are local phone numbers that you can call in, and Benny, our wonderful superstar, AKA producer extraordinaire, will take your call. If you would like to do a reading and via email, we're totally happy to. Maybe you've got questions, send me an email, supersuecares@gmail.com. Again, that's supersuecares with an S @gmail.com, and send us your questions. We'd love it. Questions about spirit, questions about education, a reading, coaching, all of that. I love it. So what's on your agenda? We've got a couple more minutes, Miss Nadine. I know that you
have one quick question for you, Sue. Did you get a new animal? Is there something about a new animal? I hear your puppy talking. Were you thinking about getting another dog, or were you just visiting another? There's something about he wants a pet or something, or is it a pet?
Well, I have been asking Spirit. Levi's my boy, and he's actually, Levi's my boy, and I've got little Cookie, but she's aging more. And I have been looking at Maine Coon cats, and I've been also looking at other dogs. And I said, you know what? It's the trust thing. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, because Levi is going to need a friend.
Yes. Well, he trusts that he's talking to me right now. And he's like, make sure you tell my mom I want a pet. Isn't that funny? Maine Coons are gorgeous.
Oh, so gorgeous. And you know how much I love for animals. So I was in Woodinville last week or whenever, and I was at a girlfriend's shop, and this gal came in and she had 9 puppies, Nadine. 9. Do you understand how hard it was for my heart to just, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick up every single one. I'm going to kiss it and love it and bless it. And if it's meant to be, here's my number. And oh, yeah.
Well, here's your sign.
Trust in the signs.
I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger.
Just the messenger. Well, welcome everybody. All right. That is our show for today. We love you so much. This was a great, juicy show. It's so fun to have the lovely Nadine back. Again, first Tuesday of every month, we're going to be doing this, educating and loving and messages and all that. I gave you the information a couple minutes ago, so write that down and on your calendar, Miss Nadine. I love you. I love you.
I love you.
Benny, thank you so much. And to all of you out there, we'll see you next week. And until then, each of you are a gift. Get out there and share your